Shalom. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Halayim La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rechaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopefully elect. It's the brother Isaiah with the Pittsburgh GMS camp, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rechaha Kodash. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. I got this clip. I had to do something on it real quick. Lord willing, it's edifying. I'm gonna hit play.
Those deputies grab her.
Salaki. Change my audio. Make sure that this is
Roberto, and quite literally remove one of his legs.
Salaki.
Do you think you could take me home?
Yeah, for sure. Let's hop in my car.
Door's not opening.
I need to explain.
This is the very moment those deputies grab Rigoberto and quite literally remove one of his legs from his body. Now I know what you're thinking. Surely he just means some sort of prosthetic and he's just baiting us into this story. But no, this is not the case. This is a fact. And to make matters worse, when Mr. Barriento finally arrived to the hospital, he was told it could not be reattached. The officers then lied on their reports and kept this footage under wraps for well over a year. That is, until this man right here, Kevin Green, took Mr. Barriento's case, requested the body cam footage, and released it himself.
The footage is absolutely horrific. It shows an unprovoked arrest. The four deputies decided to body slam Mr. Barrientos face first, very dangerous takedown maneuver. His left leg bent backwards in the opposite direction that your knee's supposed to bend, makes a horrible crunching, popping sound. Splits the leg all the way off, except for just a little tissue in the front.
And this is the very moment.
You know, and that was a very graphic explanation, but you know, it pissed me off, you know, when I heard it. Made me cringe, made me think about, you know, what if that happened to me? You know, that's a very that's very wicked. Okay, now if you read the comments, which I'll touch on this, right? Okay, there's a they had a good point. It said what's really horrific is that it took a year for a lawyer to take the case and stand up for that man. You know, and a lot of people don't want to go against the cops. And there's something that they have that I'll touch on later called qualified immunity. It's hiding that body camera footage is like attempted murder. That's and like it says here, suspended without pay is the worst they'll get. F this system, right? And typically that's what happens. Where is it? And can't find it. Huh. Okay, kids, the lesson we learned here is if you want to get away with being a criminal, be a policeman. All right. And maybe it was in one of the responses to one of these statements, but they have a thing called qualified immunity. Let's get this scripture. Isaiah 10:1 says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed." And this law is not set up for you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Verse 2, it says, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. You know, and the laws are set up to protect these agents of the state, these, you know, people, because they say serve and protect. They do not serve and protect you. They serve and protect the interests of the government entities that they serve. Okay, now let's get this. There's something called qualified immunity. Okay, this is from the Legal Defense Fund. Qualified immunity frequently asked questions. What is qualified immunity? It says qualified immunity is a judge-created rule, so it's an unrighteous decree. It says that protects government officials, including police officers, when they are sued. The doctrine holds that officials who violate other people's constitutional rights can only be held responsible if there exists a previous court decision with very similar facts that resulted in other officials being held accountable. So it rests upon, it's like how the civil court works, or the civil Supreme Court. It rests upon whether or not this thing has been done before and whether or not there was a punishment that occurred before for this specific type of action. Okay, and what happens a lot of times is cases like this, where a person can clearly have his rights, you know, which, hey, you don't got no rights here. Okay, let's just be honest. They call this a land of the free and a home of the brave. You got people that will stand tall and defend this place. Meanwhile, you don't got no rights, man, especially not if you're a minority, so-called minority, right? Which really we're the majority as Israelites, whereas the sand of the sea. right? But here you're called a minority, and the place is not set up for you. Okay, what does it say? It's something about the home born slave land. Let's see if I can get these lost lyrics. Jeremiah 2:14 popped up. Is Israel a servant, a slave by birth? Why then has he become plunder? Look at that. Okay, and that's basically what's going on right here. Is Israel a slave, or is he a servant born in the home? Why has he become plunder? And right now, we are plunder. We are, property here. The scriptures talk about how. Let's see. And I can't find it, but there's a hold on. Get this typed in. It talks about certain things that were removed from the national anthem. Okay, and I'll just type that in: national anthem removed lyrics. I'm gonna type in slave because I want to read this part. Star Spangled Banner, racist lyrics. Let's see, do they let you read them? Yeah, it's right here. Okay, Star Spangled Banner, originally called the Defense of Fort M. Henry, has more than one verse. The second half of the third verse ends like this: no refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. And the Star Spangled Banner and triumph of wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave. Yeah, it was never meant to be free for you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. It says there's no place that can save you being a hireling or a slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. All right, and we experience that to this day. Like Deontay Wilder said, to this day. It's true, okay? Let's get this. Isaiah 14, and this is the pride of Esau right here. Okay, it says the king of Babylon, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, take up this power against the king of Babylon. But this is definitely speaking about Esau, man. Okay, look at some of the things that it says. Isaiah 14:7, 6 actually. There's a lot, man. We got to start at 4. I'm gonna try to jump around because I need to go down to 17, so I'm not gonna read all that. Isaiah 14:4, 144. It says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? Okay. The Yahweh have broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. You see? And this is how we know some of this talk begins to show you, okay, that this is speaking prophetically, okay, parabolically and prophetically of someone other than the actual king of Babylon. Okay, this ain't talking about no Nebuchadnezzar, right? Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. Okay, now we understand that Babylon was taken down by Darius the Mede, okay, by the Medo-Persian Empire. So, that wasn't the chief of all the nations. This is speaking prophetically of what's going to happen to America, Babylon the Great. Okay, when the 10 horns shall hate the whore and shall burn her with fire. Verse 10 says, and all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? art thou become like unto us? You see, thy pomp is brought, and I wasn't intending on reading all this, but I'm sure reading it through the Spirit. Pomp is brought down to the grave. Thy pomp means thy pride, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. All right, and I should have said, Lord willing, I wasn't gonna read it. Which, you know, right here it says Lucifer, son of the morning, which, you know, that word Lucifer goes into light bearer, you know, and this just basically talks about how he wants to be like the Most High. Now let's get down to the point now that we've got contacts, right? Verse 16 says, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? And that's what Esau's done. Okay, you know, prophetically, as it said, what, who can make war with the beast? This is essentially what they did when they dropped the atomic bomb. Okay, people was like, well, we can't mess with him. Okay, when what he did to Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that was a pivotal moment where people was like, ain't nobody making war with these niggas. And since then, people have been afraid. That's why you got the US dollar is the only currency that can be used, so like to buy oil, right? Even though it's not backed by any physical assets such as gold or oil, right? Well, it's not backed by gold or something valuable. It's backed by military might. Because if you don't buy things with this dollar as it currently stands, or as it has been, because it's rapidly changing and people are no longer being afraid. They're saying right now, art thou become weak as we? They're looking at him like, nigga, you looking real vulnerable lately, right? Nevertheless, used to be they would run up on you and destroy you if you didn't use their currency. And we've seen that with Muammar Gaddafi and other people, okay? And we're speaking on a broad scale, but this is the spirit of Esau. This is how he rose. And I'm gonna get to the point. Verse 17. That made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. This is what he does. That's the point I wanted to get. All right. He ain't gonna open the house of the prisoners. He wants you to be a perpetual slave. They got rid of slavery, and then they made it where if you're a criminal, you can still be put into slavery. That's how it is in America. And that's why a lot of people get unrighteously put in prison, okay, under false allegations, because what? They can use you as a labor slave at that point. This nigga look like he'll be good in the working in the labor force, so we gonna get him locked up. You fit the description of a big burly black nigga that can go work in the be a slave in prison. That's what it is. Okay, right? And there's a big industry in that, man. They get so much money for housing these criminals, quote unquote criminals, or housing these jakes, all right, to keep them alive so that they can keep working, right? And that's just what I'm saying as a man, okay? They getting that money to keep you alive so you can keep on working. Psalms 10:1. Why standest thou afar off, O Yahweh? Why hidest thou thyself in times of troubles? The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous whom Yahweh abhorreth. The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. These people don't got no mercy for you. They ain't thinking about the righteous balance that the Lord put out there, all right, or how to treat us righteously. They don't worry about that. Verse 5 said, his ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. All right, and that's the same spirit that's on Babylon, right? That's the same spirit these so-called white people, these Edomites, have. They're proud. They don't think nothing's gonna happen to them. Verse 7. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. And that's what these police do. They lie. Police have been coming out or been being exposed for planting evidence, okay, for lying about certain things they've done. And then with this qualified immunity, it makes it even worse. Verse 8, he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den, He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. He crouches and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He hath said in his heart, the Most High hath forgotten. He hideth his face. He will never see it. You see that? So that's what these Edomites do. The reason that they're so quick to kill a Jake is because they get even more immunity when they kill you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. So it's nothing for them to slam you on the ground and rip your leg off, except for a little bit of skin, right? And then go a year and a half or some shit without being without nothing happening to them, without things even being brought into question. Okay, and I would like to know if there was an update on this thing. All right, I don't even know when it came out. Let's see. August the 21st, 2023. Come on, man. You know, and that ain't saying when it happened. It happened in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. I see 2022 or something there. The numbers are small, right? So you know, man, come on, man. You know, Yahweh Shai is gonna deal with these people, man. And we're just waiting. We're just waiting, man. So may these Edomites, okay, get their judgment. And either way, as a nation, you will be slaves in the kingdom of heaven, like it or not. Thus saith the Bible. All right, you niggas can cry. You can have tears for your daddy Esau all you want. It ain't gonna change nothing. You soft ass, coon ass niggas. You gonna look. Yahweh Shai said, who the world ain't called Jesus Christ. What did he say? He said, them that would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay before me. And that includes you so-called niggas, okay, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Yeah, you might be a child of Israel, but if you ain't with what the Lord's with, he's gonna fucking kill you. So you better get with it, man. Revelation 13 and 10. Now let's start at verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Call Halayim La. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders of great millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations, and the whole for the elect. If you ain't with that, then may the Lord destroy you, man. Shalom.